So I'm going to do some small vessels that are lidded so that we can see a few different kinds of lids and how they fit. So I'm going to throw these off the mound. So I'm going to take a chunk of clay and center it. So I usually do my lids first and then my pots. I think it's easier, a little bit easier to throw the pot to fit the lid than the lid to fit the pot. And I'll show you a couple of different ways to measure lids besides just eyeballing it. So first, I'm going to take a chunk of clay. So it's about the size of the opening, or about the size of the inside of the gallery, and we'll talk about that when I throw the pot for it. I'm going to press down. This is going to start the knob. Squirt the knob up. Push down. And then pull this lip up. And stay still. And out. Compress the rim. Go back in there and put them in the middle. And then cut it off. Now it's important that this part here is flat so that when it goes in the gallery, it'll fit. This is the lid that I usually do for teapots. And the pot for that is going to have a gallery that's set into it, like this one. So the lip here, I'm going to leave thick. I'm going to take a square-ended wood tool so that I can press in to make the gallery. I'm going to wet it so that as I'm pushing, the water's going to drip down the tool. Press on the inside until it makes a little ledge. Go back and clean it up. We've got the flange now, or the gallery for the lid. So it'll fit in. So it's a little bit big, but what's good is that I can just squeeze it in a little bit and make it fit. Check it again. So there, now it fits just right. Cut it off. So that's lid number one. Lid number two would be one that fits in it and around it. So it's going to get thrown upside down. I'm going to press down in the middle to start a hole. And on the outside here, I'm going to press down. This is going to make the lip around the outside. This is going to be the part that goes on the inside. I'm going to press down below so that this part here is going to be the lip on the outside. I'm going to compress the bottom here. If I don't compress this, because how thick it is, it could have a tendency to crack. I'm going to squeeze in. As I squeeze in, I'm going to try to pinch it off. So that is our lid. I'll make the pot for it now. The pot for these kind of lids, you can get away with if the lid breaks, that you can still have a decent pot. So it's basically a vessel, and then any kind of opening at the top that's going to allow that part to fit in it is going to work. So we'll just do a little generic pot here. So then this, don't want to drop it, is going to fit in there. Make it a little bit bigger. There you go, you got a lid. I'll cut that off. Now, there's also lids that fit over pots. So, a lid that fits over is basically just going to be a baby dog dish. A lid that fits over pot is the next kind of lid, and it's basically just a baby dog dish. It's just a little dish that comes out. It's got a corner in here that's flat and straight. And I'm going to cut it off, flat. And then the part that it would go over is going to be a lot like the last one we threw, except I want it to kind of rest on the shoulder and not rest on the gallery or the part that's sticking out itself. So I'm going to make a little gallery that comes up here. So the lid is going to go over this section and rest here. It goes over and rests. There we go. That's another lid. Unfortunately, you don't want to do this when you're making it because you mess it all up. But for demo purposes here. Now to get lids that fit without just eyeballing it, or having to pick the lid up and mess it up, cheap way if you're doing small lids is a credit card. If you take a T-square and you cut a line from, or draw a line across, and you cut the notches out that are the inside and the notches that are the outside, this will be the inside of the pot if it's an inside lid, and that will be how big your lid needs to be. So for example, if I'm making that first lid again, and I want this to fit right, I'm going to start with something that's close to this, like that. I'm going to open it up with my square-edged wooden tool. Check to make sure that this part here from the inside to the other inside is the same size. Cut it in a little bit more. So now that would fit. I'd cut this off, and then I'd make my lid the same way, but using the other side. So I'd take my little gauge here, and I'd see, okay, that's too big. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Still a little too big. Bring it in a little bit more. There we go, that'd fit. So then I'd cut it off, bring the pot over. You see that it would fit right in.